we want to explain about Camellia. Camellia was jointly developed by Nippon Telegraph and Telephone Corporation and Mitsubishi Electric Corporation in 2000. Camellia suitable for both software and hardware implementation as well as its high level of security. Object identifier for content and key encryption. The Camellia content encryption algorithm in cipher blockchaining CBC mode for the three different key sizes are identified by the following object identifier. The algorithm identifier parameter field must be present, and the parameter field must contain the value of IV. Key wrap and the key unwrap producer used encrypt and decrypt a Camellia content encryption key (CEK) with a Camellia key encryption key (KEK). The Camellia key encryption algorithm has the following object identifier. The parameter field of algorithm identifier must be absent. OID gives the KEK key size but not make any statement as to the size of wrapped Camellia CEK. Implementation may use different KEK and CEK size. Camellia specified the 128-bit block size and 128, 192, and 256-bit key size the same interface as the Advanced Encryption Standard AES. Implementation must support the CEK and the KEK having the same length. If different length, the KEK must be equal or greater than the CEK. Camellia key wrapping and unwrapping are done in conformance with the AES key wrap algorithm.
Key unwrapping with Camellia is identical with AES replaced by Camellia. The input to the unwrap process are the KEK and N+1 64-bit blocks of ciphertext consisting of previously wrapped key. It returns N block of plain text consisting of the N64-bit block of the decrypted key data. The unwrap algorithm can also be specified as an index-based operation, allowing the calculation to be carried out in place. Again, this produces the same result as the register shifting approach. The initial value refers to the value assigned to A0 in the first step of the wrapping process. This value is used to obtain an integrity check on the key data. In the final step of the unwrapping process, the recovered value of A0 is compared to the expected value of A0. If there is a match, the key is accepted as valid, and the unwrapping algorithm returns it. If there is not a match, then the key is rejected and the unwrapping algorithm returns an error. The exact properties achieved by this integrity check depend on the definition of the initial value. This specification defines a default initial value that supports integrity of the key data during the period it is wrapped. The default initial value is defined to be the hexadecimal constants. The use of a constant as the initial value supports a strong integrity check on the key data during the period that it is wrapped. If unwrapping produces A0, then the chance that the key data is corrupt is if unwrapping produces A0 any another value, then the unwrap must return an error and not return any key data. When the key wrap is used as a part of a larger key management protocol or system, the desired scope for data integrity may be more than just the key data or desired duration for more than just the period that it is wrapped. Also, if the key data is not just a Camellia key, it may not always be a multiple of 64-bit. In order to accommodate a set of alternatives that may evolve over time, key wrap implementations that are not application-specific will require some flexibility in the way that the initial value is set and tested. Security consideration. This document specifies the use of Camellia for encrypting the content of a CMS message and for encrypting the symmetric key used to encrypt the content of a CMS message, and the other mechanisms are the same as the existing one. Therefore, the security consideration described in the CMS specification and the AES key wrap algorithm can be applied to this document. No security problem has been found on the Camellia. Intellectual property statement. The IETF takes no position regarding the validity or scope of any intellectual property or other right that might be claimed to pertain to the implementation or use of the technology described in this document or the extent to which any license under such right might or might not be available. Neither does it represent that it has made any effort to identify any such right. Copies of claim of right made available for publication and any assurance of license to be made available, or the result of an attempt made to obtain a general license and permission for the use of such proprietary right by implementer and users for this specification can be obtained from the IETF Secretariat. The IETF invites any interested party to bring to its attention any copyright, patent or patent application or other proprietary right which may cover technology that may be required to practice this standard. The IETF has been notified of intellectual property right claimed in regard to some or all of the specifications contained in this document. As MIME capabilities attribute. SMIME is secure multipurpose Internet Mail extension. As MIME provide a consistent way to send and receive secure MIME data. Based on the popular Internet MIME standard, as MIME provides the following cryptographic security service for electronic messaging applications. If as MIME client is required to support symmetric encryption with Camellia, the capabilities attribute must contain the Camellia or ID specified above in the category of symmetric algorithms. The parameter associated with this OID must be Camellia as MIME capability. The SMIME capability sequence representing Camellia must be the encoded as the following hexadecimal string. When a sending agent creates an encrypted message, it has to decide which type of encryption algorithm to use. In general, the decision process involves information obtained from the capabilities list included in message received from the recipients, as well as other information such as private agreement, user preference, legal restriction, and so on. If user required Camellia for symmetric encryption, it must be supported by the SMIME client on both the sending and receiving side, and it must be set in the user preference.